Okay, you guys, let's go and jump straight into your very first step to simplifying so that you can leverage 3D acquisition. And all of this brings more peace into everything that you do and delivers better results. So let's go and jump in. Now, the first step to simplifying your marketing is three things: define your best solution, profile your best customer, and therefore allowing you to leverage 3D acquisition. I'm not going to go into the 3D acquisition right now. That's something we already covered in the training. Now, why are you doing this? Because let me go and show you a couple examples. This is an example of what you should not do. This is something that was done back in the 80s when it was primarily insurance based and nobody had co-pays. And as long as you put your name, your business out there and just welcome people and that told them that you take insurances, this was enough to get you some patients, but there was never really marketing back then. It was just primarily physician referrals. This doesn't work, even though a lot of clinics are still doing this sort of thing. This type of thing doesn't work, even though there's a nice little logo with a little swoosh and you just sound nice and everything, and you're saying book. This just doesn't work. Now, what does work, it seems like something's, it's like a no-brainer thing to put out there because that's what was always done before, and it's just really superficial, very general information. But what does work today is this type, where, because people don't connect and commit and build loyalty to companies. They connect with people. People connect with people. And when you simplify by taking these 3 steps I'm going to show you, you can now start to really hone in and laser target in on people who need you, people who feel like, wow, this ad, this promotion is talking to me. I was meant to see this. So you can start creating things that communicate your impact, that communicate to people and just resonate and just get them wanting to make contact with you and go to the next step, which is to engage with you, to connect with you, and ultimately to meet you and invest in you. Now, this particular ad, by the way, just off topic, this particular ad, people go straight from becoming aware of you to actually making an investment. So they skip all the other steps. About 3% will skip all the other steps and go straight to investment. One quick thing I want you to know is the best things in life are discovered only when stepping outside your comfort zone. The first step is always the hardest, but it gets easier and easier from there. And that's what leads to peace and result. Number 1, clearly define your best solution. Now, the most common solutions that people are coming up with is like a core service. For example, a certain condition like back and neck pain, poor behavior if you're in pediatrics, knee injuries, developmental delay. Those would be some examples of core services that you really want to promote, that you really want to focus in on, and based on a condition. Now, there's another way to go, which is core service for diagnoses or categories such as like pelvic floor dysfunction, ADHD, fibromyalgia, oncology rehab. Those would be some examples of defining your best solution based on a diagnosis or category. And one of the things that people feel like is they fear pigeonholing themselves, feeling like, I don't want to just focus on this market. I want to get a bunch of variety of people. And that's fine. You can eventually get more varieties of people. But right now, if you want to get more results and really simplify things for you, your business, yourself, and your staff as well, it's important to just focus and get really good at this one thing. And you can really create a neat, convenient, simple system because you're getting more and more of these clients. But also, there are a lot more people than you might think. Now, there are ways to kind of research and see, well, what is the potential market for this type of condition or this type of diagnosis. But in almost every city across the country, I'm going to tell you that there's enough people for whatever diagnosis or condition that you're going to come up with. And once you start honing, and what's great is your competitors may not be targeting them. And so you can very quickly and easily become the authority and the expert for this particular condition or diagnosis, which really puts you head and shoulders above everybody else in your region. So there's so many benefits to it, but I'm not going to try to sell you on this. I'm just going to go and show you the steps. So another is an elective service. It doesn't have to be a core service that you're currently doing. It could be an elective service, like post-rehab fitness. If you've always really wanted to dive into fitness, nutrition, weight loss, yoga, offering yoga programs, Pilates programs, but really geared towards solving problems or fulfilling desires. That's really important in the way you promote it. But because you don't even in these, you don't want to just promote weight loss or just yoga. Plyometrics as well. So if you have any passions that you really want to launch, and you love it, you want more of it for yourself, you just want to dive deeper into it. Time's going by, and you're not getting any younger. It's really important for you to dive into a passion that you have now before it gets too late and it turns into a regret. So that's number one. That's how you go ahead about defining your best solution. Step number two is profile the best customer. Now this is where I find most clinic owners, they are reluctant. They seem like they want, there's a lot of different variety of people that I like. No, I'm talking about best customer, like the ones who seem to, they check in on your Facebook page, they comment, they like your stuff, they always upbeat, they're always willing, they tell other people, they pay, they buy other things. That gets that becomes a pretty narrow profile of a person that really meets all those. And so you want to pick that person that is like that, because I know you already have some patients, clients like that, but they're few and far in between. So I want you to pick that person and just quickly write down the demographic. What is their gender? What's their age? What kind of other health issues they seem to have? If they seem to have, like kind of across the board for that kind of customer, what kind of health conditions do they seem to also have? Like, do they seem to have high blood pressure, diabetes, things like that? Because this is all going to really help you later when you start advertising and promoting. So, and then also habits and hobbies. What kind of things does this profile, I call them avatars, but this profile of a customer, what kind of habits and hobbies do they like? Such as like gardening, do they seem to like to hike, cooking, sports, those kind of things. Also, what kind of occupation does your best customer seem to have? Sometimes occupation, if you can kind of list 7 to 10 occupations that your best customers seem to have, it really helps you later in your advertising and promotion. So it actually drives down the cost and just gets better results. So also, and the most important thing, and this is kind of the most important thing, is beliefs and thinking. What kind of you can say, for example, let's say your best solution is low back pain. I just use that because it's just such a common thing. But so now you're doing your profile of the best customer who seems to have low back pain. But now you want to go deeper into the things that frustrate them, the impairments, rather than just saying kind of generically, if you're having low back pain, that's shooting down your leg or throbbing or aching and sore, and those are kind of describing symptoms. And you can kind of go into, and if you have difficulty with like sleeping or pushing, pulling, lifting, squatting, bending, you can kind of go into the motions, but I want you to list out and go deeper than that. Go into like more specific impairments, like they're not able to put their pants on, in the morning very easily because of stiffness. They may just getting inside their car to get into the seat seems to be a nuisance. It's aggravating, or it's difficult, and all these things that just make you feel like, wow, I'm not as able as I used to be, and I'm starting to feel like I'm getting old. But when you can describe and communicate some of these deeper, more specific frustrations, so even to be honest with you, like even saying something like, when you're on the toilet and it's difficult to wipe yourself, or something like that, or even just, so I want, there's customary impairments and frustrations, such as not being able to hold their child, which is really important, and we use that one a lot. But I also want you to have a couple of deeper ones, little things. And then also, now we're going to get into the interrupters. Like, what are some of the things that prevent a person from making a decision to invest in their health and invest in their relieving of their problem, invest in your program. They're probably prioritizing other things, such as just feel like, I have bills to pay, I have relationship issues, I have job issues, whatever it might be, and they're prioritizing, those things are more important for me right now than myself. But really what they're doing is neglecting themselves. So identifying and when you have laser targeted and defined your best customer profile, you will begin to better understand their interrupters, especially if you're asking the question, during your examination, if you're asking the patient the question, what are some things that's going to interfere with you from being compliant, being consistent, and fulfilling the requirements of this program? And the answers you get really give you insight into what some of these people, what some of these interrupters are, and what some of the ways that they think. All right, and then number 3 is, now you can start leveraging the 3D acquisition. You can't do it, I'm just going to tell you right now, you can't do it unless you do number 1 and 2, because if you want to go and get all those people who want your solution now, want to fix their problem now, if you want that, but you, in order to exponentially increase your results, also get those who want it later, the tire kickers, those who, just misprioritize other things, thinking that their pain problem is just not a priority right now, which we know it is, because it makes everything else better. But they just neglect themselves, and they think, I'm going to do this later. So even though they see your ad or promotion, they want it, but they've got these interrupters. So these are examples of interrupters. And then if you want to get those who want it but are unsure, and we call them clickers, because they're untrusting. They just saw you, they just learned of you, but they're untrusting. They've been burned before, so they're skeptical. So in order to really communicate to this group, you have to do 1 and 2. Because to get very specific is what it's going to take for them to say, wow, you know what? You spoke to me. I feel like you are talking directly to me. And that's what really drives results from this group. So those are the 3 steps. Get on it. This is what it takes to simplify your marketing so that you can really take advantage of the exponential power of bringing peace, because less effort, less cost, less energy, and get more results. This is what's required. So talk to you again soon, you guys. Let me know what you thought of this little quick training, and let me know if you have any questions. All right.